Welcome back, Chelsea fans, to another episode of the London is Blue podcast, YouTube edition. And we are back with a Chelsea women's video for the first time in about a month. And that is because they have been on winter break until past weekend, where they beat Charlton Athletic 4-0 in the FA Cup fourth round. And so that was kind of the welcome back to Chelsea women. And so we are going to do a video about the 5 things you need to look out for as the Chelsea women embark on a quest, let's say, to potentially lift 4 pieces of silverware at the end of this season. All the things you need to look out for, and maybe some surprise contributors at the end. Let's get into it. Just in case you needed a reminder, Chelsea women have been on a tear this year. They've been very, very good. 17 games played so far, including Charlton at the weekend. 16 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses. 54 goals scored, just the casual 54. 12 goals conceded, 8 clean sheets. Top of the WSL table through to the UEFA Women's Champions League as group winners, and through to the FA Cup 5th round as well. So things are coming up Chelsea this year for sure. And Bone Pastor has been a big part of that. She's obviously got this team gelling. They just came back from a little bit of a winter break in Portugal, where they did kind of a mini training camp to get everyone back and ready for action. But the first thing that I want to talk about, and the thing that I think a lot of Chelsea fans are excited about, are the pieces of silverware at stake through the second half of the year, right? Chelsea's first half of the year, we're getting acclimated. We're trying to understand how Bone Pastor wants to play. We're looking at, a couple of new signings. We're trying to figure out how all the pieces fit together. They fit pretty damn well. Now it's winning time, and the second half of the season has been historically where Chelsea have thrived. And when you look at the cups coming up, we're obviously into the 5th round of the FA Cup, having beaten Charlton at the weekend 4-0. We are going to play Team TBD on February 9th for the 5th round, so wait till that comes out. We also have Durham in the League Cup, formerly known as the Conti Cup, on the 22nd of January. And so that is another competition where Chelsea have not always lifted it at the end, but I think are in a strong position to do so again this year. And then the Champions League comes back in the middle of March. And so throughout this time, with Chelsea being up in the league, a lot of early kind of late winter, early spring is focused on the cups. How do we get through to the final of the Conti Cup? How do we get through to the final of the FA Cup? And how do you really make some dents in the Champions League and get back to another Champions League final and win it? That is going to be the critical thing to note for Chelsea women this time around. And look, if it's anything like the past, the team will continue to build strength. They'll continue to build togetherness, and they will advance through the knockout rounds of these competitions because of that, and because of the excellent playing staff that we have. Point 2 leads us to the turn of some superstars for Chelsea Football Club. Despite the record, despite the crazy amount of goals scored, despite the clean sheets, despite some pretty excellent results so far, Chelsea have been a pretty injured team. We're talking about the likes of Lauren James and Niamh Charles being out for huge amounts of time. Sam Kerr and Mia Fishel being out. You now have an injured center back group of Anique Nowen and Kadisha Buchanan, which is a huge loss. We've seen, a ton of injuries, little kind of spurts of injuries in the midfield and up front as well. So this team really needs to get healthy and get healthy quick. But the return of Lauren James against Charlton was a huge sigh of relief for everybody. Really looked the part in the first 45 minutes. Very excited for her. Niamh Charles has now been back for a few matches and looks back to her best already, which is fantastic because I think it allows the team to flex in different ways. And then you talk about the 2 strikers. You could argue, despite the fact that Myra Ramirez already has 10 goals, so far this season, despite the fact that Guro Wrighton already has 10 goals, maybe you haven't had the best striker play this season so far. Aggie's been trying to fill in. Myra's been trying to fill in, but I don't think Myra is like an every game sort of player. I think they give her time and space to rest. And so the return of Sam Kerr, the return of Mia Fishel will just embolden this group. to keep going. You add in the fact that Kat Macario is just getting back, really kind of playing regular minutes. This is a dangerous group. If they can figure out how to fit all these puzzle pieces together, watch out. The third one is one near and dear to my heart that you need to look out for, and it's coming up very, 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 very quickly. That is Arsenal at home at Stamford Bridge on Sunday, January 26th. We beat Arsenal away early in the season. It was a great victory. We loved it, love beating them any chance we can get. But this is at home, and it really does matter for the league. Arsenal have picked up momentum since Jonas Eidevall left for San Diego. Was unceremoniously dismissed. Hate to see it. But Chelsea really do need to win this game at home. And if you are in London, if you are going to be around Stamford Bridge for any reason, please get a ticket. Please go to this game. Please create some killer atmosphere. If you remember last year, Arsenal brought the wrong socks to the game and had to wear Chelsea's alternate socks in a game that we dominated and really propelled us to go win the league. Please, 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 everyone go to this game, make an atmosphere, and help propel Chelsea to another league title. Do that. Number 4 is the transfer market, and that might seem crazy given the immense amount of talent that Chelsea have in the squad this year. But there are a couple of things happening. There are some loans for some of our younger players, including Julia Bartel, who went to Liverpool on loan, which is a really great loan for her. You might see a couple of other loan moves just depending on how the window shapes out. But I think largely it'll be the young players, some who returned and went out on a different loan. So just kind of watch that space for their development. But really, really interesting is what Chelsea decides to do at center back in the transfer market. And if you've heard me talk on the podcast about this, you will know that the only player that I want to play center back for Chelsea that is available for transfer, from what we know, is Naomi Girma, the U.S. women's national team center back, who Emma Hayes described as the best defender I've ever seen, ever. I've never seen a player as good as her at the back. Emma Hayes has coached some ridiculously good center backs. Now, the transfer fee is going to be the problem because the Wave, San Diego Wave, where she currently applies for trade, is not a super deep team, and they will likely need some transfer fees to really backfill that role if they do decide to sell her. But Arsenal are looking at her, Chelsea are looking at her. Sonia Bompastor even came out and said, we're talking to some players, and I wouldn't say transfers are close, but we are interested. And that was pretty cheeky because I am interested in Naomi Girma coming to Chelsea, playing left center back, moving Millie Bright over to right center back, having some real depth, in defense, getting Natalie Bjorn, to kind of help facilitate some of the center back play, maybe as a backup or a substitute. If this transfer did happen, it would be a dream transfer for Chelsea women. They value her at $1 million US dollars or more, so less than £1 million, but probably aren't going to be able to get that much for her. So maybe if Chelsea want to stretch their legs in the transfer market and really do some business, center back, go get Naomi Girma. She's the best around. Excellent signing. Lock it up. Number 5, I was kind of thinking about the surprises that a season can have and the contributors that can lead to some of those surprises. So let's just take a step back. We know that your Lauren Jameses and your Sam Kerrs and your Myra Ramirez and your Guro Wrightons, all these Erin Cuthberts, all these great players exist at Chelsea. Who are some surprise contributors that could really play a role in Chelsea achieving the aim to win everything that we can win this year? And I kind of went by position group. I do think Zecira Musovic will come up big for Chelsea in the second half of the season. She has done so before, and I believe she will do so again. There's been a little bit of fluctuation at goalkeeper. Hannah Hampton's been good at times this year, not been good at times this year. Musovic has also not always shined, but there are moments where Musovic does come up huge in match-winning moments. And I think despite the fact that she's clearly the number 2 goalkeeper of the squad, that she will have moments to go and help Chelsea win things, potentially the League Cup, potentially the FA Cup. And in the aim of winning everything, I believe in Zecira Musovic to help us do that. Center back. Let's pretend that Chelsea do not sign Naomi Girma, which would hurt my heart, and they keep the personnel that they have. I think an interesting thing to watch out for is going to be the fullback to center back transition for rotation. What do I mean by that? I mean Lucy Bronze or even Neve Charles moving into a center back role so that Ev Paraset or Sandy Baltimore or even Bernabe on the left hand side can help facilitate some left back play, right? Maybe even going to a back three with some wing backs. I think there will be some surprise contributions there, not because your Lucy Bronze or Neve Charles is a surprise contributor, but it might be because of the position that they're playing that is a surprise. So watch that space if we don't sign a center back, which I think we will. Midfield is pretty straightforward for me. Aurélien Jean-Francois. She hasn't played a ton. She came in injured and really built up, strength and some form, especially in the Women's Champions League. This is a player that I think in a kind of thin midfield, you have your Erin Cuthberts, you have your Vika Kapteins, you have, Shuka Nuskin, who can play every position on the pitch. I think that Aurélien Jean-Francois is going to be really, really, really important to the second half of the season for Chelsea and could play a role, especially in cup games. And even when Chelsea need an enforcer, maybe as a true number 6 to allow your Cuthberts and your Nuskins and Kapteins to go forward as like a true number 8. I think she might be able to play a role there. So watch that space. And I called that one. It's been pretty obvious that her transition into the team has gone pretty smoothly. So that's good. Last one I'm putting a big bet on. I know Sam Kerr's coming back. I know Myra Ramirez is excellent. I know that Chelsea have an abundance of options up front, including but not limited to Lauren James and Kat Macario and Aggie Beaver-Jones and Guro Wrighton and all these great players. JRK, who's been excellent this year. Big Fish, Mia Fischel, will score a goal that truly takes people by surprise in the second half of the season. She, like Sam Kerr, just coming back from injury, probably not going to be back until March. So this really would be kind of a surprise performance. But I do think that Mia Fischel, maybe late in the game, second striker, plays with Myra, plays with Sam, is able to head a ball on for a goal or score one herself. She's really, really difficult to deal with on set pieces. She does have a good finish on her. She came from Mexico where she scored a ton of goals, U.S. Women's International. So watch the space for Big Fish. I know she's kind of been forgotten about. The injury really derailed the progress that she was making. There are tons of great players in the squad. I think Big Fish could really surprise some people. Let me know yours, too. If you've been watching this team, really paying attention, I'd love to think of all the different surprises that could pop up. And so let me know what yours are. But that's going to finish it up for this one. Chelsea women are back. Get into this team. They are super fun to watch. They're easily the most dominant part of Chelsea Football Club in the way that they play and the results that they have. So pay attention. And until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.